Hey exterior cleaning business owners, my name is Jonathon Henderson with Pressure Washing Marketing Pros. In today's video, I'm going to go over how to make sure AI recommends your exterior cleaning business. Because the first question you want to ask yourself is, does AI currently recommend your business? In the last year, has a customer told you that they have found your exterior cleaning business using an AI platform like ChatGPT? If a customer are going to go ahead and type in, I'm looking for a window cleaning company or a pressure washing company in my city, are you going to be recommended? And if a customer has found you from an AI platform, then that's awesome. If they haven't found you from an AI platform in the last year, then you're in the right place, because I'm going to go ahead and show you how to structure your online presence so that you are consistently recommended by AI platforms. And so the first thing we need to address is, what are the AI platforms that customers are going to currently be using? And so the top 3 most used AI platforms in America are ChatGPT, Microsoft Copilot, and Perplexity. ChatGPT, if you're watching this video and you're an exterior cleaning business owner, you're probably very familiar with it. It's a tool that is utilized by most entrepreneurs and business owners. And so it has 79% of the market share. And the primary users of ChatGPT are between the ages of 18 and 29, slightly more male, and they're student creators, digital professionals, and entrepreneurs like ourselves. Now, Microsoft Copilot, this is actually the default AI platform for Microsoft, products. And so if you think of Bing, on Bing, the default AI platform on there is going to be Microsoft Copilot. If you have a Microsoft computer and you're using a Microsoft browser, whatever it may be, that is like Microsoft Teams, Microsoft Copilot is going to be the default AI platform. So that is why it's heavily used on there. And so majority of the users on there are going to be 25 through 34, majority male, college educated, and desktop users, knowledge workers, and researchers. As a matter of fact, in the military, a lot of it is going to be Microsoft Windows, and so I can definitely see Microsoft Copilot being the default. And so Perplexity makes up about 5.5% of the market share. And Perplexity is going to be an AI platform that is used by knowledge workers, and it's usually used for research-oriented fields, and it's very technical. And so the common age of users on there is going to be 25 through 34, predominantly male, and these guys are going to be analytical professionals and students. And so the biggest thing is, your future customer is already using AI daily. And for the guys out there that think, well, my current customers aren't, they're too old. Your current customers are getting comfortable with it as well, because millennials aged 35 to 44 are actually AI optimists, with 90% indicating confidence in their general AI abilities, which is higher amongst all the age groups of 18 through 24, 25 through 34, 45 through 54, 55 through 64, and 65 plus. And so how do we know this? Well, at our agency, we've actually tracked all of our clients' leads. And we've seen a significant increase in how many clients, are getting found on platforms like ChatGPT. And so the new landscape of the future, or the new search landscape of the future, is going to be, for example, the Google AI overviews. You've probably seen when you type in something like, how much does window cleaning cost, or window cleaning Waxhaw, North Carolina. You're going to go ahead and see an AI overview, which is going to just give you a list of results. Or even if you're looking up a simple query, which is going to be like, what are the top zip codes in this county? It's going to give you an AI overview of that. And so it's going to give you an instantaneous answer. ChatGPT as well. If you look here, you can go ahead and get an instant result as well. And if you're looking up a window cleaning company, as I've shown in this example query where it says, can you recommend the top 5 window cleaning companies in Charlotte, North Carolina? It's actually going to go ahead and show a map where it's going to give the directions, the website, and even give you the ability to call. And so this is a new landscape in the future. And you don't need to just rank only on Google anymore. And so this example right here, you can see that our client actually got a lead from Grok.com, which Grok.com is Elon Musk and, Twitter, or known as X now. It is the actual AI platform that Elon Musk has built. And so one of our clients actually got a lead from there, as you can see. And so when on Google, they actually rank number 18 for the keyword that they showed up for, which is going to be pressure washing Lake Nona, Florida. So they actually showed up at position number 18 on Google. But when you typed in on Grok, give me a list of pressure washing companies in Lake Nona, Florida, they actually showed up number 1. So despite them ranking number 18 for the keyword pressure washing Lake Nona, Florida, they showed up number 1 whenever AI systems, whenever you asked AI systems to give them a list of pressure washing companies that were located in Lake Nona, Florida, meaning you don't need to just rank on Google anymore to get leads. And so we're heading to a zero-click future. What does that mean when I say a zero-click future? That means that your customer wants to get an answer at their fingertips. An example would be football scores. If I go ahead and I type in, like, give me the football scores today, if I type that in 10 to 15 years ago, I'd have to go to SportsCenter, ESPN.com, click on the website, click on my favorite team, and then look at, what the scores are. And that took multiple clicks. Now, if I type in, football scores today, I get an instant knowledge panel that gives me the answer. And as we discussed earlier, if I were to give an example of like how much is pressure washing in Nashville, Tennessee, or whatever city you may be located in, there's an AI overview instantly that breaks down all the factors that influence cost, the price ranges, right, and examples of cost breakdowns with sources. And so clients and customers can get this information at their fingertips. And so what that means, guys, is if you're running ads, have you noticed PPC getting more expensive but less effective? Well, that's because with these new AI overviews and with the search landscape changing, that means that there's going to be less organic visibility. And with less organic visibility means that more people rely on ads. And when more people rely on ads, you get more increased competition. And with increased competition means higher ad cost. So it's imperative and important that you structure your business online so that you do not get left behind and you're not in this circle of just relying on ads and spending a lot of money. And so even the good businesses get left behind. You guys don't know how many businesses I've audited that are businesses that have, that have been here for the last 20 years doing pressure washing or window cleaning services. They have over 300, 400 reviews on Google. And they're like, how come these guys that I've never heard of are getting recommended instead of me? Well, these are the 4 issues I've identified. They have outsourced branding and messaging, meaning that they'll just go to a digital marketing agency and, hey, just write the copy for my website. So there's no personality to it. Also, when it comes to a lot of business owners, they don't have a personal identity or social proof. They try to stay behind the scenes. Another reason is no multi-platform presence. And so some guys in some exterior cleaning businesses, they are heavily invested into Google. They have 500 Google reviews. That's the only thing that they focus on. Or you have other businesses that only focus on Facebook. And it goes back to also the next point is no content AI can verify or trust. So even the content that's on the website, the content that's in various places is just very thin and it's not really telling the story behind your brand. And so why is that so important, guys? Well, we have to ask ourselves the questions. What are the most cited websites by AI models? And if you look at the most cited websites by AI models, it's Reddit, Wikipedia, and YouTube. And so I'll say that again, Reddit, Wikipedia, and YouTube. And Reddit even dominates Google's algorithm. If you go ahead and you search right now, any kind of like pressure washing in Atlanta, you're going to see this little area where it says discussions and forums. And why is that? Because AI platforms favor user-generated platforms and content. Because as we get further into this age, the human element, the human intelligence, the human factor is what AI is going to rely on. And so that is why it is so important that you build your personal brand. Now, these are all familiar faces, as you can see with Elon Musk, Tommy Mello, Grant Cardone, Dave Ramsey. These guys have doubled down on their personal brand. When you think of Tesla, what do you think of? You think of Elon Musk. When you think of garage doors, you think of Tommy Mello. I mean, the guy even has his own face on his logo. When you think of commercial real estate, you think of Grant Cardone. When you think of saving money and getting out of debt, you think of Dave Ramsey. And so you don't need to be as famous as these guys, right? But you need to build familiarity. You don't need to be famous because people trust people and AI understands that. That's why, you want to make sure that you have your own personal brand attached to your business. A faceless brand is an invisible brand. And so what does this look like? What does good look like, guys? If I type in who owns A1 Garage Door Services, it automatically tells me Tommy Mello. If I say who owns Pressure Washing Marketing Pros, Look at that, guys. It has me on there. And so, as you know, even me making videos like this and putting this out there, I'm building that authority so that they can associate, okay, Jonathon is very knee deep into the exterior cleaning industry. He puts out a lot of content. He has great results for his clients. We can associate anything that Jonathon says, will also boost up Pressure Washing Marketing Pros because they know I'm attached to that business. And so what does good look like? So one of our clients, Jim Dubois, he owns Squeegee Pros, which is a multi-million-dollar window cleaning company in Charlotte, North Carolina. At the time, I took a screenshot of their Facebook, and guess what? They had just posted on their social media. And if you go to Jim's profile, he puts not only his coaching group, Window Washing Wealth, but he also puts that he's a founder and CEO of Squeegee Pros. And so you see that he's putting his business to the forefront. And even while having an optimized social media profile for my guys that are like, I don't really update that. When I typed in a keyword for one of our clients for roof cleaning, you'll go ahead and see that there's an AI overview. And then it said, it had this hyperlink that said, according to Facebook. So the keyword was actually roof cleaning in Lewis, Delaware. And you'll go ahead and see that our client showed up. It says like Ortiz Pro Wash is one such company providing pressure washing and exterior cleaning services, including roof cleaning for both residential and commercial properties, according to Facebook. And then what did it do? It actually showed the Facebook post that he made, which it just said Power Washing Services, Lewis, Delaware, and it was a video that was on their Facebook because these AI platforms look for as much context as possible. And so what does bad look like? What do a lot of bad companies that I see that don't get recommended by AI, what does their stuff look like? Well, look, this is actually an example of one of our clients who has not posted on their Facebook in over 3 years. And so people, like, even if I looked at your company, I saw you on Google, then I go to your Facebook and I see that you haven't been in business or that you haven't posted in 3 years, I might think that you're not in business anymore. Also, one of the biggest things that irritates me is if I see a exterior cleaning business owner who's on Facebook or social media platforms and it says no workplaces to show. Who are the easiest customers to get? Your friends, your family, and your network. Why don't you put your business out there? I know a lot of people say, I don't want it to work against me. I want to be able to tell my views. But guys, in this new age of AI, you're not going to be able to hide behind your brand anymore, as I stated earlier. And so how do we get started on this? Well, we can get started on optimizing our online presence for AI platforms by asking yourself, what's the number one customers ask you? And we all know, guys, it's price. Pricing is the first step on how you can optimize your online presence with AI. Why is it important? Because customers, a lot of people will say, well, my customers, our service is very customized, right? Our pricing is very customized. Well, guess what? Customers don't need an exact number. They need a range. They'll say, well, my competitor, because a lot of people will push back on putting their pricing out there because they'll say, well, my competitor, they will end up knowing my pricing. I guarantee you know your competitor's pricing. Therefore, if you know their pricing, they probably know your pricing because you guys bid against the same jobs. And also, a lot of people will say, well, pricing will go ahead and scare off people. You know what scares off people? Hiding pricing creates uncertainty, and uncertainty creates inaction. Would you go to a restaurant that didn't show the pricing of the food there? You probably wouldn't go ahead and do so. So why are you doing the same thing to your customers? As you guys can see in this example to the right, how much is pressure washing in Nashville, Tennessee? All the information is right there because they already know that this is a question that's asked a lot. And why is this important? Look at pricing in action when it comes to ChatGPT right now. If I say, please give me a window cleaning company, where I asked ChatGPT, I said, please give me a window cleaning company in Waxhaw, North Carolina. Guess what? It gave me several businesses. And then afterwards, you can see right here, it says, if you like, I can pull up a list of window cleaning companies in Waxhaw sorted by reviews or price, or find the ones that specialize in commercial windows. Do you want that? I said, give me the pricing for these companies. And then this perplexed me. This confused me, guys, because guess what it said? It said I wasn't able to find full pricing details for all of the companies. But here's what I did find for a few in the Waxhaw, Charlotte area. Guess what, guys? These are all companies that put their pricing out. So you will actually lose out on jobs in the future because you don't put your pricing. Because see, now customers can have more of a dialogue with ChatGPT and these other AI platforms. It's not just give me a list of companies and they do their own research. They can have AI do the research for them. Which brings me to my next point, guys. because Google will now use AI to gather quotes for customers. So Google search can now call local businesses using AI. And this just got it fleshed out back in July of 2025 right now. So what does that mean? Well, guess what? What this looks like is customers will see this button right here in the map pack that says have AI check pricing. Then once it does that, it will give them a list of the services that they need. Like, what services do you need? And then afterwards, it will call businesses on that behalf. And then guess what? It's going to provide that customer with a summary. And so what can you do to control your own narrative so that you're not going to go ahead and be at the whims of AI and you can dictate this pricing before a customer even gets to this stage? Well, you have to create the type of content that AI can trust. So that means answering the most frequently asked questions customers always ask. In the exterior cleaning industry, it's always going to be pricing. Will your services kill my plants? Do you bring your own water? What type of payment do you take? Right? Create comparisons. So if you're a window cleaning company, you probably get customers that ask you, what's the difference between doing an annual service and what's the difference between doing a one-time service? How often do I need to clean my windows? Or you might ask, or your customers need to be educated on, what's the difference between doing it yourself and a professional? You want to explain your process. So you need to know what to expect, the type of preparations that's required, how you take payment. These are all things customers want to know. And now customers are more empowered to do that research. And so since they're empowered in other, industries as well, you have to start doing this in the exterior cleaning industry too, because you even can turn every job into a story. The good thing about the exterior cleaning industry is that guess what? You can see transformational results. And so talk about the problem that the customer had, the process on how you fixed it, and what the end result was. You can turn, instead of just having a simple before and after, you can make a full video or get a testimonial. And you can if you're actually tracking every single call in your business, you can repurpose all of your call transcripts, upload them to ChatGPT, and turn them into, say like, what was my most used service this last month? And you can do that based off of all the call transcripts from July or from the previous month, right? And then this can give you information that you can use when it comes to ads, when it comes to frequently asked questions on your website, when it comes to organic posts that you want to go ahead and make, and even helping your sales team. So you want to go ahead and build the type of content that AI can trust. So what are the top AI recommendation signals? Because if you know the top signals, then at that point, you're going to know how to structure your online presence. Now, guys, I will say, working with over 120 exterior cleaning businesses, I try to give like the top 7 that we deem the most important and the ones that we see that have the most impact for our clients that get them to constantly show up. So I'm going to go over each one. So what does multi-platform visibility and third-party mentions mean? Well, AI systems do not rely on a single source when recommending local businesses. They evaluate patterns across multiple high-trusted platforms to determine if a business is real, active, and trusted by others. So the more that you show up consistently on these high-trusted platforms, the more confidently AI can recommend you. So what does that mean? That means keep your Google, Bing, Facebook, Better Business Bureau, and Nextdoor profiles consistent. And if you're not listed on these, get listed on them, right? Earn mentions in local news, blogs, and especially best of list. I know, guys, we hate the Yelps and the Angie's List of the world, but there's a reason why they have like the best window cleaning companies in this city. You want to get listed on those because that's what AI crawls immediately. Even Chamber of Commerce directories, all of these matter and make an impact. Now, the next is going to be review quantity, specificity, and sentiment signals. So AI systems analyze more than just your review quantity and your average rating. They read the actual content of your reviews to evaluate the customer satisfaction, how relevant your service was, and consistency across platforms. And they want to know how recently it was said, how often it's repeated. All of those things influence if your business gets recommended. So AI reads review content, not just star rating. And so you want to make sure that your customers are also mentioning the service that you have in there. And one thing that I've also noticed is that AI will grab certain reviews that you have and they will recommend your business because they're like, well, according to these 3 reviews on Reddit or according to these 3 reviews on their Google business profile, they executed this service. And if you have repeated complaints like lateness, communication problems, or any just little thing that is constantly being referred, which is a sentiment signal, that weighs against you. For example, one of our clients has over 500 five-star reviews and they have about a 4.9 star rating. But the biggest complaint that they have on their one-star reviews is that they're late and their communication can be bad. Of course, if you're doing as many jobs as them, sometimes that can happen. And so that was actually used against them, against another company that was significantly smaller than theirs. And so that hurt their ability to go ahead and get recommended. Even though they got recommended, ChatGPT said, yeah, make sure that you go ahead and watch out for them because they're known for lateness and communication issues sometimes. So that is why that matters when it comes to your reviews. Entity trust. So that means you need to have your name, address, and phone number consistent across the internet. So before AI can recommend your business, they must first recognize it as a single trustworthy entity. That means your business name, contact details, website, and category must match everywhere online. Because if you have inconsistency, it weakens your ability and visibility by splitting or confusing your digital footprint or identity. So that means that you need to have a visible email. Don't rely on just contact form only. I see so many guys do that because they think that's going to cut down on their spam, or agencies don't want other people to reach out to their client. Well, guess what? The more context and data points that you have, the easier it is to associate your business. All listings should link to the same website URL. And one thing I want to tell clients that they always, that I see a lot of exterior cleaning businesses wrestle with is they say, hey man, I want to change my name. So for example, we had a client that was called, the end of their name had pressure wash. But they were like, I want to change it to exterior cleaning because I don't want to be pigeonholed to just pressure wash. Well, they changed their, website URL. They changed their domain name or their website URL. They changed their name. They changed everything across the internet to reflect this name change. And guess what? For about a period of 6 months, it hurt their ability to rank, and it also hurt their ability on AI models. Even the AI models said, hey, I got you confused. And they got them confused with their old name. And so if AI gets confused, they're not going to go ahead and recommend you. Prompt aligned content structure and language is going to be important. That's another key point. AI systems prioritize businesses that use the same language customers use in real world searches. So the clearer and more aligned your content is with how people ask questions, the more likely you are to be featured in AI generated local recommendations. So use customer language. For example, the answer, if somebody says like, how much does roof cleaning cost in Charlotte? That is something that a customer would ask. And one thing that I always see, guys, is that you want to answer questions at the top of the page. If somebody asks how much does roof cleaning cost in Charlotte, you don't want to have the answer buried underneath 600 words. You want to have the answer immediately, and then the content below it can support why it's that price. Make sure that you have headings and bullets. Headings and bullets for scanning. AI loves that because then they can easily display that information. And make sure that you're writing your content that is easily readable. So I usually say between a 6th and 8th grade reading level. If anything, I might even say a 5th grade reading level so that people can comprehend it more easily. Website content with location and service relevance. AI systems recommend businesses based on how clearly they describe what they do and where they do it. If your site doesn't have specific services and target cities directly in your content, AI is less likely to show you in responses to local searches. So that means give each main service its own page. I see a lot of exterior cleaning websites where they have one page with all the services that they do instead of dedicating that specific page, or say instead of dedicating those services with a dedicated page. Because with a dedicated page, you can go over the specific pricing for that service, the specific process, the specific equipment that you use for it, the chemicals that you use for it as well. You want to go ahead and name the cities, neighborhoods, and zip codes that you serve instead of just saying, I see people, we actually went ahead and had a client that was mad at us and pushed back on us, right? Because they were like, well, I want to say that I service all of Southeast Wisconsin. And I said that you want to be more specific than that. Instead of just saying Southeast Wisconsin, say the exact cities and the exact counties that you actually service instead. So we service all of Dodge County, Wisconsin, right? And so avoid vague language. Like I said, we serve the entire region. You don't want to do that, as I just explained. Schema markup and crawlable site architecture. So what is schema markup? Schema markup, guys, is a code that you add to your website that makes it easier for Google and other bots to interpret. It makes it easier to go ahead and structure, the data that your website shows on the back end. Therefore, the easier that it is to read on the back end, the more context that these bots, even Google and AI systems, have to trust your business. So AI systems need to understand not just what your website says, but how it's structured behind the scenes. Schema markup and a clean, crawlable site layout help AI understand your content, trust your business, and feature your pages more confidently. So one thing that you guys need to do is add schema to your website. Now, there's different types of schema, but the most important 3 that you can add to your business are going to be local business, service, organization, and even FAQ schema. I'll add that on there. And use descriptive URLs in a clean menu and connect your service pages to your location pages and just make sure that your internal linking pages in between that, because when you associate pages with another page, so for example, your roof cleaning page can link to your gutter cleaning page because it says like we have a bundled deal, or most of our clients that have clogged gutters, it can affect their roof. And then on your gutter cleaning page where it says that, you can go ahead and link that to the roof cleaning page. And so that is what you want to go ahead and do whenever you want to make your site more crawlable. And so the last thing is going to be authentic business generated content. As we've been talking about, AI favors content that comes directly from real jobs and real customers. So the more you showcase your own work, your own words, and your own results, the more trust you build with AI systems. So as I said earlier, share job stories, organize, all of that stuff, right? You want to go ahead and make sure that you guys have that authentic stuff. You guys are sharing your story. Have video testimonials. Share your exact process. And what does this look like whenever a company does this correctly? So what does this look like, guys? Well, I'll show you guys an example right here. If I type in, can you give me a list of top window cleaning companies in Charlotte? You'll see our client, Squeegee Pros Window Cleaning. Now, the next thing you'll see is if I go ahead and I say, if I could choose one company for commercial window cleaning, which of these companies would you choose? And they chose Squeegee Pros Window Cleaning. And they said they had extensive commercial experience, established reputation, licensed, insured, and safety certified, scalability and crew size, broad service area and flexibility, and service extras. Why is that? Because of the way that we structured their website. We gave them the bundle deals that we have. We told them, we didn't just say we service all of the Charlotte metro area. We said the specific cities that we service. We talked about, their backstory. So all of this was context that AI could get even from their website and other platforms across the internet. And then I even asked, who owns Squeegee Pros Window Cleaning? And it said it's owned by Jim Dubois. And so this is good. And it even has their president, which is Christina. And so this right here even gave AI more context. And then I asked it, I said, does this give you confidence in suggesting them? And they said, absolutely. Jim Dubois' leadership is a big reason I'm confident recommending Squeegee Pros as a top choice for window cleaning in Charlotte, because it says he has proven industry expertise and thought leadership. His window washing wealth coaching program shows he's deeply knowledgeable about scaling exterior cleaning businesses. So I'm not saying you guys have to be a business coach, but his personal brand actually helped him get propelled in the AI platforms as well and get recommended because they could associate him with this company. And so since he has a good reputation, he's a thought leader, then at that point, Squeegee Pros is associated with Jim, therefore AI is confident in recommending that company. And so I asked it, I said, what is their contact information? And then they gave me a list of all their numbers, their emails, and they have 2 locations. So it even gave the location for the Charlotte location and the Mooresville location. It gave the separate numbers for each of those locations, and it even gave the email of the president, the residential services, the residential department, and the commercial department. And these are all correct. Imagine if your information, as I talked about earlier, guys, is not correct across the web. When AI crawls that and it's the wrong number, the wrong email, and the customer calls in and you don't pick up, or the error, and they get an error message because they tried to send an email to you, then you lost out on a lead. And so if there was just 8 things that I would do right now, guys, to immediately fix your visibility when it comes to AI platforms, I'd make sure that you fully complete your Google business profile so it's fully optimized. I'd make sure that I not only get reviews on Google, but Yelp, Facebook, Better Business Bureau, Nextdoor, and these other platforms. I'd make sure that I have schema markup installed on my website. I'd have pricing, team, and process videos and content on my website. And even I have FAQ content, so frequently asked content, on the website and Google Business Profile. I make sure that all the platforms that I'm on, like Yelp, Facebook, Better Business Brew, Nextdoor, and these other areas, I make sure that my name, address, phone number, and website URL are consistent across all those listings. I'd make sure that I have external mentions. So, local news, a local blog, the Chamber of Commerce, BNI, these different areas, I make sure that I'm on those because that is what AI is crawling. And also make sure that you link your personal social profiles with your business. So make sure that your personal social profiles are linked to your business, or your businesses are linked to your social profiles. Make sure you have that so that they can associate you. That is what I would immediately end up doing. And so, if you still have questions, and I hope that this video provided you value, but if you still have questions and you're like, Jonathan, I want to dive in deep. If I've motivated you right now and you want to dive in even deeper about this, you can schedule a free no obligation AI visibility audit by going to go.pwmarketingpros.com and scheduling. And we will look at not only your AI visibility, but we'll look at your, visibility on Google. We'll look at your website and its conversion metrics. We'll look at all of your entire digital website presence so that we can tell you what you need to do going forward so that you can optimize. So at the very least, you'll leave that meeting knowing what you need to do next and have a specific course of action, because no two businesses are the same. And so make sure you go to go.pwmarketingpros.com, schedule if you guys want to go ahead and get that free no obligation visibility audit. We'll also have it in the description as well. So all in all, guys, with search changing and the search landscape, ever vasting, just changing consistently, we need to make sure that we equip ourselves with the knowledge, right, and structure our business so that we are prepared for the future of search. And so thank you guys for watching the video, and I'll definitely see you guys in the next one.